Every month, we do a mobile roundup, and this was a good month. I'm Falcon, and today on gameranx, we bring you the best new iOS and Android games of December 2016. As usual, a little disclaimer for you, these are paid games. We also do a roundup of the best free games, and that will come within a few days. Number 10 is a snow-themed pinball app called Snowball, and let's just say this right off, there needs to be way more pinball apps that are this good. It's very pretty with its pixel art style, and on top of being very pretty, it handles significantly better than you might expect, just some random pinball game that you found on the App Store, Google Play, or whatever. The look of it reminds me of 1990s PC games, and I have a certain nostalgia for that, but it also adds other gameplay elements, such as crystal gathering, that keep it interesting. It also uses the fact that it's snow very specifically at times, and I certainly appreciate that, because the introduction of new gameplay mechanics is kind of the reason to make pinball games at this point. In other words, great job, Snowball. Keep it up. You're one of my favorite pinball games now. Number 9 is Colt Express, which is a train robbery board game turned into a fantastic, fun, quirky, and good-looking mobile game that really, it comes together better than you might expect it to, and really, board games have done a great job on mobile anyway. If you're not familiar with the game, it's essentially a card-based board game in which you rob a train, and it's essentially a step-by-step from the rear of the train to the front. It's a lot of fun to play competitively too. They have an online mode as well as play with friends, and believe me, this is better than just a time waster. This is a really good board game. I really enjoy the hell out of this game. Number 8 is The Walking Dead: A New Frontier, which is a really interesting episode of an idea that I think goes a little bit further beyond what we might expect from The Walking Dead now, going years into the future. Now, the emphasis is always on found family in The Walking Dead games, and this is no exception here, but I will say they do de-emphasize your choices a little bit more in this one. But the saving grace is they seem to continually get better at writing stories. So if we are giving away a little bit of our agency for great storytelling, I don't know, it's a person's personal taste that matters there. For me, I kind of prefer this. I really enjoyed the 2 episodes that are out of this game now. There's a few more coming soon, and I'm looking forward to them. Number 7 is Retro City Rampage DX, which did come out on iPhone a while back, but is now debuting on Android, and oh, I'm excited for this. The phone I carry around on a general daily basis is an Android phone, so getting to have this in my pocket, I'm completely ready for it, because this is such a fun, really hybrid of a lot of different types of games. It's humor, it's silliness, and it's gameplay elements. If you like top-down shooters and high chaos type games, that's the best I can describe it as. Just try it. It's $5, but it's worth that $5. Number 6 is RollerCoaster Tycoon Classic, and let me tell you, this is, in my opinion, the RollerCoaster Tycoon. There have been quite a few titles in the series since, but Atari did something very smart with this game. They blended stuff from the first RollerCoaster Tycoon and RollerCoaster Tycoon 2. Combining that with the original aesthetic of the game, in my opinion, creates an experience that's superior actually to either of those games, as well as any of the 3D iterations of it. And now it's on your phone. That's going to be my catchphrase for when they make an equal to or superior version of a classic game that I love. And now it's on your phone. Number 5 is Don't Starve Shipwrecked, which is out on the iOS now and Android soon. If you like Don't Starve, which is a great action-adventure game that came from the people who made Sword and Sorcery, as well as Below, this is essentially a more seafaring edition of that same premise. And briefly, you might mistake that for making an easier version of the game, because obviously tropical settings are nicer than the main setting of the original game, but I would say maybe that's not a good idea because it's as brutal as Don't Starve. I will say I maybe think that the art style is better in this game than the other game, and it's got new biomes, new features like a boat, and a lot of other interesting ideas that weren't in the original, and I dare say maybe a little bit goofier. It's kind of like everything that I would personally do to Don't Starve, so I have to say I'm behind it. Number 4 is Empyrean, which is an interactive text-based novel, meaning there are not graphics in this game, that places you in a world of technology. There are both organic and inorganic forms of life pretty much everywhere, and there's an interesting ecosystem that's developed around this. The world is governed by an oligarchy, and essentially the story revolves around you attempting to stop them, and it really is a well-written, interactive novel. If you like something like a Telltale game but don't need the graphics, I would say this is the type of thing that you might want to look into because it gives you the best of that type of an experience while also allowing you to sort of imagine everything as though you're actually reading a novel, because you are. It's just that you're in control of the novel. It's a really interesting one, has some very interesting themes that I think you'll get into as you sort of explore deeper into the story. Number 3 is Kathy Rayne, which is a really fun adventure game. I personally very much enjoyed this game, and I think that it really harkens back to a lot of the adventure games that I used to play as a kid. However, it is a little bit heavier on character development and story. The main caveat I have to that point is that your main character can come off a little try-hard at times, and it's a lot of the time the rest of the characters that get the best development. But the further into the game you get, the more you realize that it's kind of an act and there is an actual person behind it, and I like that a lot. Just saying, so that you don't get too grated by it at first, because you do have to get used to Kathy Rayne, the titular character, who is, by the way, animated fantastically, as is everything in this game. Wonderful animation, great pixel art graphics, colorful, great story, investigative type story. Again, adventure games from my childhood, and I couldn't help but get swept up in it. I'm really happy it's out on mobile now. Number 2, Apollo Justice, Ace Attorney, which, by the way, I think you know exactly what it is if you know Ace Attorney already. If you don't, Ace Attorney is a game where you investigate, around crime scenes, talk to witnesses, speak about things, and then attempt to prove your client's innocence in a court of law type situation. As far as I'm concerned, Ace Attorney games are kind of a hybrid of RPG, puzzle, and adventure games, and I personally really like them. These are games that I've wasted a lot of time on, and I'm happy to see more of them coming to the mobile platform because, honestly, they're one of the bigger reasons to own the handheld platforms that they've inhabited for years, because these things are really top-notch, fun games. And finally, number 1, Bully Anniversary Edition, which follows Jimmy Hopkins through a story that Rockstar created to sort of, well, I'm not sure exactly what the goal was, but it takes place in a sort of satirical environment in a corrupt and crumbling prep school. The idea is to stand up to bullies, play pranks, beat the jocks at dodgeball, and a long list of other strange things that you might associate with an experience you may not call great, but obviously it's a Rockstar Games game, so, it's funny and it's fun. It includes all of the Bully content, including the extra missions and other various things that came with the Bully Scholarship Edition, as well as upgraded graphics, now on your phone. Did you play any of these games? Did you enjoy them? Let us know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, maybe found some good suggestions, hit the like button right now. If you're not subscribed, now is of course a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week, and as always, we thank you very much for watching this one. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter @FalconTheHero, and we'll see you next time right here on gameranx.